Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 things we learned from the Mexican Grand Prix. Let's get started. Daniel Ricciardo is back. The Honey Badger had an amazing performance at the Mexican Grand Prix with a P7 finish and a P4 qualifying. He was again back in form after a disappointing US Grand Prix. His pace was really impressive and he was competing with George Russell all the way to the finish line. And now, the interesting tale is Perez versus Ricciardo. Checo, in his home Grand Prix, crashed out in turn 1. He was having an aggressive mindset but didn't pay off for him. Now, Daniel having out-qualified him, heading into Brazil, Sergio has a lot of pressure to outperform Daniel, otherwise we might be seeing Ricciardo back at Red Bull. An interesting plot is developing, Ricciardo versus Perez. Max Verstappen is unstoppable. As expected, Verstappen won the Mexican Grand Prix, but what I was surprised by was it was so easy for him. He could have been on the wrong tire, he could have been on the right tire, he could have had a bad start. It just doesn't matter because his race pace is so much better than his competitors on any tire. So he can take an extra pit stop or two and still win the race. So it's confusing, but Max is literally on a league of his own. He has somehow figured out how to get an unbelievable performance out of his Red Bull car. You know, Sergio Perez has the same car, but he's way behind. So kudos to Max. Like him or not, his driving is incredible. Don't underestimate Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, in my opinion, is the second best driver on the grid. His performance was really strong at the Mexican Grand Prix, P2 plus fastest lap. His racecraft is incredible. Just to make a comparison, Sergio Perez won a few races in the beginning of the year, and Lewis has a very good chance of catching him. He hasn't won a race yet this season, and he was disqualified from the US Grand Prix and crashed out at Qatar. This shows that how consistent Lewis is despite having a not-so-winning race car. Lewis Hamilton could be back, and I expect him to be back next season. Next season could turn out to be like 2021, Max versus Lewis, all the way to the end. What's going on at Aston Martin? Aston Martin had a dismal performance, a double DNF, and their pace seems to be totally gone. In the beginning of the season, Alonso looked to be a race-winning driver. It's head-scratching, really. Despite having a new factory, a new facility, and everything going for them, their performance has just suddenly took a U-turn. They're totally lost. Initially, it looked like they would be competing with Ferrari or even Mercedes and taking P2 in the championship. But now they might be P5 or P6. So it's really head-scratching. Aston Martin has a lot of work to do to investigate what's going on with their car. My last takeaway from the Mexican Grand Prix was that sprint racing might not be the best for Formula One. At the US Grand Prix, we had the sprint race format, and we saw a sprint qualifying, a sprint race, and a regular race with one practice session. Mexico had more of a traditional layout with 3 practice sessions, a qualifying session, and the race. And in my opinion, it was slightly better because Sunday's race was not given away by what happened on Saturday. At the US Grand Prix, we kind of knew what to expect on Sunday because we saw the cars racing on Saturday. We knew the pace, we knew how the tires would perform. But here in Mexico, Sunday was a new day and the cars could really race and surprises could be brought out. I'd love to hear your thoughts about sprint racing. Do you think that it's better for the sport? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next one.